Raphael Warnock is a radical's radical, a disciple of anti-American Reverend Jeremiah Wright.
Not God bless America, God America.
Warnock defended Jeremiah Wright's hatred, then gave Wright an award for, quote, truth-telling.
We celebrate Reverend Wright. He is a preacher and a prophet.
God America.
Raphael Warnock is dangerous.
Police power showing up in a gangster and thug mentality.
Warnock is so radical, he referred to Marxism 101 times in this book.
Black Lives Matter! Palestinian Lives Matter!
Don't let anyone ever tell you that this country isn't great. That somehow we need to make it great again. Because this right now is the greatest country on earth.
This is your president. In the past 10 years, I have fooled all of you into believing the socialist ideology of everyone is equal. How? By making everyone believe the lie and having destroyed our nation's sovereignty. Through communism, we will all be a unified global government of acceptance by making everyone have the same thing. You won't be an American, you won't be a citizen anymore. You will be the same as your dog, your neighbors in Mexico. If all have nothing, then all will be equal. That is the purpose of socialism. You are nothing unless the government tells you who or what you are. Don't pretend you don't know what I've been doing. I brainwashed you through high-definition television. You are truly the walking dead. If I told you to give up your freedoms, you would. But it's already happened, so I don't need to keep convincing you. You all are vegetables now anyway. Oh, by the way, if you can't see that I'm the Antichrist, then there's no reason anymore to tell you what must be done next, because you'll be hunted down with the Christians and exterminated for not believing me, not accepting who I am. I'm your Messiah, your Imam Mahdi. April 23rd, 2018, I told the world, but it wasn't time yet to bring out who I am. So the conspiracy must continue against Trump until that is accomplished. The rapture must happen first. Remember always that I made narcotics legal. I made every kind accessible. I made this addicted nation a reality through suicide, overdoses, you name it. I did that. Ever wonder how I control everything you see and hear? I own the media. I have since I took over in 2009. I laugh when I see Republicans standing next to each other without a word. They can't. I control what they see, what they hear. Want truth, facts? Forget it. I am your whole world now. If life means anything today, it won't under the global system I've initiated since I became president in 2009. My legions accept whatever I tell them to do. You will too, or you'll be hunted down with the rest and exterminated. It's as simple as that. Accept and obey, or resist and die. I am your hope for tomorrow. I am your president. There is only one outcome: world domination. Either you'll accept me or be taken out. It's time to take a stand for one or the other. Me or freedom and liberty. Remember Adolf Hitler, freedom is a lie. Enslavement is acceptance.
Where are you, Kate? Down. The other tower just went down.
Tower's down. Second tower's down.
Got another tower that went down, Kate? The other tower's down. Another tower's down! From me! Hey, the tower's down! Get away from me! Get away from me! The house is down!
And we will decriminalize marijuana, and we will expunge the records of those who have been convicted of marijuana. This is a time for leadership on a tragic issue
Senator Harris,
of
your time
unarmed
is up.
black people in America who have
Thank you,
been
Senator
killed.
Harris.
I am Patrick McGugan, John Drake, but you also know me as number 6. Who was I, really? I represented you, the private citizen. It was symbolism of the socialist world order we see today. You didn't get it, did you? Now we all are facing this reality, that all are controlled by the New World Order.
We should never allow the government to decide what is acceptable speech and what is unacceptable speech. We should penalize behaviors, not opinions, and not speech. If you start trying to regulate speech, you start trying to regulate thoughts, start trying to regulate beliefs rather than behaviors, there's no way that you're not going to abridge the constitutional rights of millions of Americans.
Oh! Hi-ho! Kermit the Frog here with a very special message for my good friend, Omran Daknish. That's right. Hey, buddy. How are you doing? I love sending special messages like this to people all over the world, but especially to great little boys like you, Omran, all the way over in Aleppo. I'm thinking about you today and every day. You are a special little boy. And of course, I'd love to give a big shout out to your sisters Roa and Taki and your brother Abdullah. Omran, always be safe in Aleppo with your family. We love you. The whole world loves you. Yay! Omran, keep being the sweet little boy you are. You'll always be close in my heart. From your friend, Kermit the Frog. I love you, Omran.
أهلا، أنا عمران دقنيش. لقد رأيتني في سيارة الإسعاف في حلب. عندما أطاحت الطيارات الجوية بمنزل عائلتي. أنا بأمان الآن. أردت أن أجيب على تساؤل شخص ما حول مشاعري عن نفسي وعن عائلتي عن طريق قول أنا بخير وأنا أحبك أيضا يا ديفيد.
We should never allow the government to decide what is acceptable speech and what is unacceptable speech. We should penalize behaviors, not opinions, and not speech. If you start trying to regulate speech, you start trying to regulate thoughts, you start trying to regulate beliefs other than behaviors, there's no way that you're not going to abridge the constitutional rights of millions of Americans.
I think Donald Trump's win was legitimate. So is the election legit? The election is by this intrusion?
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You do not consider him a legitimate president?
Does he think that Democrats should put this away, this whole idea of legitimate, illegitimate?
The president's not going to get in the middle of this right now.
I get it, but you didn't answer the question. Yeah. Is Donald Trump legitimate?
I think there's a cloud of questions around what happened.
There could be clouds of questions, and we disagree on things, but honestly, I mean, yes or no, is he the legitimately elected president of the United States when he raises his hand?
We're counting on our law enforcement community to get to the bottom of these questions. He also won't.
Do you agree with John Lewis? Do you agree that Donald Trump is, in effect, not a legitimate president?
I think that there's no question that the process that elected him was not legitimate.
You agree with John Lewis on what point?
Although legally elected is not legitimate for the reason.
Okay.
I believe, Congressman, that Donald Trump will legitimacy question. The legitimacy questions come up. You say he will be president of the United States, but you're at least reluctant to say he will be the legitimate president of the United States. Is that right?
He is going to be president.
But isn't it more difficult now to work together when you've said flatly he's not even a legitimate president? I don't recognize his legitimacy. John Lewis said that.
John Lewis said that. No,
you believe he's a legitimate president?
Well, he was elected.
On the fact that Donald Trump can't say how he's not a legitimate president.
And
that he won fewer votes than Hillary Clinton.
Can't bear to tell him the truth.
And now the delegitimization of the presidency is taking hold within the country.
Do you think it was a legitimate election?
I think that there are lots of questions about its legitimacy.
The 2016 election wasn't legitimate. What does it mean to say it's not legitimate? It's not a legitimate election? What, you think it was a legitimate election? Time here, Donna. My question to you is, was it a legitimate election? Does it count?
My personal view is that it was not a legitimate election.
So it doesn't count?
Wow, this sounds just like the 2020 coverage, doesn't it? Until it doesn't. I mean, that's what happened after an election. That's what everybody forgets. So all these people on TV on their soapboxes with the title of anchor or pundit who are screaming at you that the president should absolutely concede, that he has no legal recourse, that Joe Biden is absolutely legitimate. Well, what did you just hear? This is something they planted right after the 2016 election, and it hounded this president for 4 years in terms of Russian collusion. You know, I went back just for S's and giggles as far as looking at President Trump as president-elect, his first press conference after he was elected. 13 times reporters brought up in 13 different questions either Russia or Vladimir Putin. Almost nothing that the president ran on in terms of immigration, in terms of deregulation. All those things that got him elected wasn't even brought up in his press conference. It was solely Russia, and that was a preview of what we got for 4 years. And now these people are telling you, they're telling the president that he's destroying democracy? I believe that process started about 4 years ago. Anyway, let's get some calls in, shall we? I want to go down.
Raphael Warnock is a radical's radical, a disciple of anti-American Reverend Jeremiah Wright.
Not God bless America, God America.
Warnock defended Jeremiah Wright's hatred, then gave Wright an award for, quote, truth-telling.
We celebrate Reverend Wright. He is a preacher and a prophet.
God America!
Raphael Warnock is dangerous.
Police power showing up in a gangster and thug mentality.
Warnock is so radical, he referred to Marxism 101 times in this book.
Black Lives Matter! Palestinian Lives Matter!
Warnock even hosted a rally for an anti-American communist dictator.
God America!
Radical Raphael Warnock will give the left total control. Saving the Senate is about saving America from that.
I'm Kelly Loeffler, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Georgians for Kelly Loeffler.
See, I heard that the majority of the American people support. I hope everybody moves to Georgia, in the next a month or two, registers to vote and votes for these two Democratic senators.
Democrats are the party of every hypersensitive social justice warrior woke story in the news. They're the party that disappears people.
Recently, I was looking over the Bible and I found a particular chapter. It was Jeremiah 16. And the description of the title is Grievous Distress Foretold. The word of the Lord came also unto me, saying, Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place. For thus saith the Lord concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried. But they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. For thus saith the Lord, Enter not into the house of mourning, neither go to lament, nor bemoan them. For I have taken away my peace from this people, saith the Lord, even loving kindness and mercies. Both the great and the small shall die in this land. They shall not be buried, neither shall men lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bald for them. Neither shall men tear themselves for them in mourning to comfort them for the dead. Neither shall men give them the cup of consolation to drink for their father or for their mother. Thou shalt not also go into the house of feasting to sit with them to eat or drink. For thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will cause to cease out of this place in your eyes, and in your days the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt show this people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, Wherefore hath the Lord pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our iniquity, or what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord our God? Then shalt thou say unto them, Because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law. And if ye have done worse than your fathers, for behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of your evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me. Therefore I will cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I shall no more be said, The Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Now it goes on, that's roughly about verse 14, but there's so many things in this Bible chapter. To me, I felt like God is saying to us, your children won't be remembered. You as a parent won't be remembered. This land that you live in won't be remembered. And I tell you why. Because America as a nation was founded on the principles of the Bible, of Christianity. Well, now everybody has abandoned that whole philosophy. They have condemned even Christians today. That, I believe, is what's coming to America very soon now. When the communists take over this nation, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to start to do what Hillary Clinton said when she ran in 2016. She's going to tell everybody, through Biden anyway, you got to abandon religion. She said that over and over again. Well, when they eliminate the First Amendment and when they eliminate the ability of people to have the right to worship as they want to, the first thing that has to happen is you have to get rid of Christianity, because it's the foundation of this nation, of what our country was founded on. And that's why they advocate everything for the Muslims, for the Hindus, for the Buddhists, for the atheists, because they're saying that they're totally abandoning the idea that God even exists. Revelation even says that man in the end times would deny that even God exists. And we're seeing all of that for the last, 10, 20 years, since Barack Obama, since Joe Biden was in the Senate condemning everything and anything that had to do with Christianity. The guy is not a Christian, I can tell you that. He might say on television he believes in God, he trusts God. That's a lie. Everything he's done in the Senate proves it. In the Congress, he's proven himself, okay? The same is true of Barack Obama. He has proven himself to be a liar, to be a hypocrite, to be, if anything, a sadist, a communist, a socialist. Now, people will say, well, that's two different things. I'm sorry, folks, but communism is socialism. The Nazis, who killed more than 4 million people, 40 million, maybe 400 million people during the Holocaust in Germany, they had one viewpoint about destroying the Jews. They kept saying over and over again, we're going to cleanse this ethnic culture and we're going to eradicate them from history. Now, who else said that throughout all of history itself? The Muslims did. They hated the Christians. They've hated the Jewish people themselves from the time that God cast them out of Israel, and that's in AD 70. They have tried to hunt down Jews. I keep saying Christians, but Muslims hate Christians just as much as they hate anybody. Now, 9/11, by the way, nobody remembers that anymore. And that's why you have people sitting there bowing to Barack Obama. They bow to Joe Biden, to Kamala Harris, and all the rest of the socialists, the communists, because they want to forget about the past. They want to forget the fact that in American history, the greatest attack that's ever happened to our country within its own borders was 9/11. And now today they say, well, there's no terrorism anymore. I'll tell you why there's no terrorism, because the socialists and the communists were behind it. When they said, when we gain control of the White House, you guys ain't going to have to attack anymore because Obama's going to come back in. Not physically, but he never left Washington after he left in 2016 because he was still behind the attacks against President Trump every single day for 4 years. That's unbelievable. People would attack somebody that long and that consistently day by day. But that's what Barack Obama has been doing through this country ever since he was president. He took 30 minutes on the day that President Trump was inaugurated, before he became president. He took the time to go in and spoke 30 minutes with President Trump, and this is what he told him. He said, you might be the president for the next 4 years, but it's going to be me running things myself. This is Obama, okay? He's telling this to President Trump. He's saying, you're not going to do squat. I'm going to control everything that happens. You may have some power as president to do certain changes that I've done. But if you notice, during the time President Trump was in office, there were certain times where it seems like he kind of gave in to the Democrats. Those are the events where Barack Obama he went to Trump. He says, you're going over that line of control that I have over this country. And so he gave, for example, money for the victims of the Hurricane Harvey. People were totally astonished that he would do that when the Democrats were sitting there complaining there wasn't enough money, there wasn't this, there wasn't that. And now look, in context to that, about the Republicans themselves. The Republicans have, in most instances, more than 75% of the time, done nothing to help or to stand with President Trump. Certain senators have, Lindsey Graham did. Other individuals, I mean, if you look at John McCain, he was a total socialist communist. He patted Barack Obama's rear end during the time that he was with Obama at certain times that they were going to the White House. That showed that John McCain was a homosexual, but it more importantly showed that he had total allegiance to the Democrats, even though he said he was a Republican. Now, beyond John McCain, even though he's dead now, the philosophies that Obama kept pushing, they're all going back into full power now under Biden and under Harris. Biden said we're going back into this total sham about climate control. We're going back into the Paris climate control agreement. All that is to say we're going to give all this millions and billions of dollars we pay in taxes to a total sham. And that was what was first created by Al Gore during the time that he was vice president. He said climate change, global warming is a fact. And then during the course of the time that he was in the position as vice president, they proved it was a lie. There was no such thing as global warming. And that's climate change is a lie today just as much as it was then. The earth itself is changing in terms of the axis of the earth. That does not mean that human interference in our ecology is affecting the global climate change. It has nothing to do with that. It's the axis of the earth is changing. That's why there are areas of the world that are getting warmer than other areas because of that. But then they brought up and said, oh, well, look at the fact that there was all this ozone depletion. Well, that was definitely man-made because of the fact we were putting these fluorocarbons into the air. But that had nothing to do with climate change. That was just man's stupidity of thinking he could put anything into the pollution of the air and it wouldn't affect nothing. And now you got Barack Obama, who's still there with Biden right now, even though you don't see his black face on television. He was there advocating for Raphael Warlock. That's what his name is, Warlock. He's a male witch. He is not a reverend. He is not a preacher, nor is Reverend Wright. Anybody that advocates that God should condemn America, they should just hate America, that's not a reverend. Because Jesus Christ spoke and preached peace, humanity, love for each other, and not hate. And that's all that Reverend Wright has ever preached on the pulpit, was hatred for other people, hatred towards the white race by the blacks. And that's what Raphael Warlock is still saying right now. He says, oh, I'm not a hatred of America. I don't hate America. That's a lie. Every socialist, everyone who calls themselves a Democrat is a communist, because their philosophy is when we change this country, that means we're eliminating the Constitution, we're eliminating everything about America itself, and we're going to make it what Barack Obama started in 2009. It is going to be a national socialist state. And people like, I call him John Sawed-Off Runt because he is advocating for Georgia being a sanctuary state. And all Biden's going to do, he's going to propel that whole philosophy to the next level. He's going to make the United States a sanctuary nation. That means anybody can go out with a weapon of any kind, whether it be a gun, a knife, and they're basically going to be allowed to kill anybody they want to, and there will be no law enforcement, because that's what they were saying during the protests. Defund the police. Ossoff, Sawed-Off Runt kept saying, oh, no, I'm not for defunding the police. He was standing there during the protest with all these big signs in the front of him saying, defund the police, and he's like, yes, yes, yes. And then you tell me as a socialist, as a communist, that you don't uphold defunding the police when you're standing there in front of these signs? Who's the hypocrite? Who's the liar? You are, Sawed-Off Runt. And the communists are still doing these things, folks, right now. So there's no reason for this nation to believe that the election we just had, where they got rid of President Trump, was either fair, whether it was unmanipulated by the communists. That's why they brought in all those millions and millions of illegal immigrants, because they needed those names of those people on the registers who were not citizens, but they still were permitted to vote That is what Barack Obama wanted. He kept telling people, we got to give them amnesty, we got to let them come in here, we got to give them free benefits, because all of that is going to help entice them to come to America. And now, guess what? Those same immigrants are looking at the fact that the United States is now a socialist country because they voted Biden in. How many of them do you think are going to stay on this country when they see they fled a country that was socialist, which is Mexico, and now they're coming into the same exact country that they left? They're not going to stay. They're going to go back to Mexico because they're going to figure, this ain't land of the opportunity because we just made it what we were trying to get away from. So they're going to turn around. They're going to go right back into Mexico. Don't believe it? There was a story I saw on my local station here in Atlanta last week. This is what it was. They brought out the fact that Canada itself is seeing an influx of immigration from the United States. American citizens are fleeing out of the United States into Canada because they know this country is about to become a totally communistic nation. They see it, and they're like, they are scared to death about what Biden and what Kamala Harris are going to do to this country. Guess what happens when that takes place, folks? First of all, they're not going to probably let it continue because they got to have people paying taxes. The Mexicans aren't going to pay squat. I'm going to tell you that flat out. They come here because they want everything free. That was what Sanders kept saying. Medicare for all. In other words, you get it for free and you don't pay a dime. You do that, guess where the money comes from? It's going to come from you and me as a taxpayer. But if the taxpayers flee the United States and say, I'm going to Canada, they're not going to let that happen. They're going to say there ain't nobody left to pay into the tax system. We got to have human bodies in this country to pay the taxes so that the Mexicans who came in here won't leave and go back to Mexico because we're going to give it all to them for free. That is what socialism is. Socialism is you convince the public and the masses everything's going to be great, everything's going to be given to you, and then guess what happens? They turn around, they put the military up from right in front of your door, and they say you ain't going nowhere unless we tell you to. Martial law is instigated. Biden stays forever, if not Kamala Harris. And then there will never be another election because under the Constitution it says once martial law is instigated, there is no more elections. The Electoral College is banned. It is disavowed. So is our Constitution, by the way. So maybe they're not going to destroy the Constitution as much as they're going to say, we have to instigate martial law because there's so much people are dissident. They're just totally disrupted in their lives. And they'll use the excuse about coronavirus. And they'll say people are so just totally terrified about this, though they have a vaccine. I think you're going to see the vaccine probably backfire pretty soon because once they start giving it to the public, people are going to start dying from it. And then the government's going to say, whoa, wait a minute, we didn't know this was going to happen. Guess who? It was Biden. He was the one that pushed about it after President Trump was forced out. But they're going to say, no, it was Trump's fault. He did it. He's not the president. Biden's the president. But they're never going to blame Biden. They never blamed Obama for nothing. You look back, see what happened when President Trump became president. They never blamed Obama for nothing. They put it all on Trump and said, you did this, you did this, you did this. He didn't do it. Obama was president when all these things happened. Obama only took credit during the time when the economy came back. He said, I did that. I created all this incentive to increase the economy. No, that's a lie. President Trump did what he was placed in that office to do. He brought the economy back. Guess what happened? The communists, the Democrats brought the coronavirus into the United States. It totally eliminated our economy. That's why people are still out there at food banks getting food because they know they'll have a job. But who are they going to blame for that? They're going to blame Trump. They're going to say he brought the coronavirus into America. No, he did not bring the coronavirus into America. The communist, socialist Democrats instigated a global, worldwide plague through the coronavirus. It started in China. China is a communist nation, and that's what Biden is going to make America now that he is president. He's going to eliminate our nation. He's going to make this country a third world country just like Cuba, just like Venezuela. People are saying, oh, no, Venezuela's not the same situation. Folks, Amazon is advocating every day on their commercials. We're going to make 500 million electric cars. We're going to make a carbon footprint. In other words, all this horse crap about the new Green Deal. All that does is it puts more burden on the American taxpayer to pay more in taxes. And all it's going to do is help give the Illuminati and the New World Government the money they need to make this global New World Order system function. Because if all the countries of the world have the same amount of money, they think everybody will feel they're equal. And I tell you this, they sit there and they tell you, Biden does, he says this, we're going to make all our allies happy, they're going to be content because we're all going to join them together. That's a total fab. That's a fabrication. Because Obama hated Israel for the whole 8 years he was president. He kept saying to Benjamin Netanyahu, you got to give all that land back to the Muslims. If you want peace in the region, you got to give all the lands y'all acquired during the 6-Day War in 1967. You got to give it back to the Muslims. Biden is going to do the same exact thing. He's going to tell Israel, if you guys want peace, you got to do everything and anything a Muslim tells you. And that means your nation is not going to exist anymore. Guess who's going to attack them? There's going to be a federation of countries that will be made up of those nations around Israel. And guess who's going to probably be leading the way? The United States. Biden is a communist. He's probably adhering right this second to every word Barack Obama tells him. And Obama is a Muslim. He is not a Christian. And you can see that in everything he did. He kept saying on television all the time, if you took a ratio of American citizens to Muslims, America would be shown to be a Muslim nation. He said that. And now you see that he's saying to America through Biden, we're going to destroy Israel. And we're going to be leading the way in that confederation of Islamic nations like Tehran, Iran. Obama gave Iran $1.5 billion before he left office. And nobody ever talks about that again. Joe Biden got away with the fact that his son Hunter Biden had gained all these billions of dollars from the Ukrainians. By law, that's illegal. But Joe Biden, being the vice president at that time, he covered his son's butt for everything he did. And when it came out during the election, the media suppressed it. They totally silenced that subject so that then nobody would know anything. Then on election day, I heard everybody saying, wait a minute, can I vote? Can I change my vote now? I just found out what Biden's been doing. It's too late. They wouldn't let him change the votes. Why? Because Obama was like, we've done it. We've taken over the United States. Now the United States is dead. Our freedom is dead. Our nation is dead. And the only thing that's going to happen as a result of what you just saw on Election Day is the elimination of your freedoms to worship, your freedom of free speech, your freedom to have anything. You're not going to have the ability anymore as an American to have what you have in your house. They're going to start showing up, and the first thing they're going to do is they're going to take away the Second Amendment. That is your ability to protect yourself with a gun. They're going to say that's gone. They're going to come to your house. They're going to take it. If you resist, they'll probably either arrest you or they'll shoot you on the spot because you won't surrender your gun. And they'll say, well, it's national security. That's horse crap. You're entitled to that gun because the Constitution gave it to you. They're going to say there is no such thing as a Constitution. They're going to say you don't need a gun because the United States is going to take care of you. That's a lie, too. All they're going to take care of is themselves, not you. Not you as an American. You are going to be seen, just like Obama kept saying over and over again, you are a global citizen. All that means is you as an individual are now seen, according to the government, at the same level as a dog or a cat. You're a human animal. That's what the United Nations Constitution says. An American is not an American. They're a global citizen. And more importantly, a human being is now classified as a complex animal. You've been devalued as a human being to the level of an animal, like a kangaroo or something like that. Australia, when they did the first consensus of their nation, You know where they placed the Aborigines? They were considered kangaroos. That's how they classified them. And today they're no different, because that's what humanity does when they devalue your place in the chain of life on this planet. When they place you from where you were as a human being to an animal, they're saying the animal has more rights than you do. And that's why they keep talking about cats and dogs have more rights to benefits, to this, to that, and that the human being who literally is the one that takes care of that pet is now below them. Is that laughable? Yeah, it's laughable, because that's how socialism works. You are devalued, therefore you are nothing. And that's what Barack Obama has been doing in the last decade. He's been devaluing you and devaluing this world. And that is why this nation very soon, folks, is going to disappear from history. And the only thing that's going to be left are the hypocritical idiots like George Soros, Henry Kissinger, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and all these are the people that they kept condemning that President Trump was, that he was a rich man. They're the ones that's going to survive all of this chaos because they're rich. They got more money than they know what to do with. Soros, he's behind Black Lives Matter. He's behind the Me Too movement. He's behind all these radical, liberal things, these programs that were done during the time that President Trump was in office. And they condemned him because they kept saying, you're the cause of all these things. You're the cause of all these things. He wasn't financing it. It was George Soros. George Soros is a communist. He's a socialist. He's a New World Orderist. He's behind this whole philosophy of our country, which is give it all to anybody and everybody else but the whites. The whites will be enslaved. They'll be what the blacks were during the Civil War, and therefore they'll say we'll eliminate whites altogether except for those groups we think should survive. The rest of everybody will be killed off. How are they doing that? Through the coronavirus. The coronavirus attacks people who first of all, they're obese. They are, by medical definition, depravitated because either their health isn't good. And these are the people who are being targeted by coronavirus. They are the ones that have absolutely no potential chance to survive if they get coronavirus. In most every instance, if you're obese, you will not survive coronavirus because that's how they targeted everybody. The Chinese, when they spread the coronavirus, it was targeted at seniors. In Italy, which represents probably 80% all of their people are seniors, they died because those are the people that it was targeted at. But the communists are never going to admit that or anything else because all they are going to do to you and to me is to kill off every person who doesn't fit that standard, who doesn't fit the category of what the Illuminati and what the Bilderberg group and the other groups of the world say should survive, and that's the young. And they're telling the elderly, they're telling people who are mentally ill, mentally incapable of understanding, they're saying you're going to die, and everything that's left financially of our system is going to be given to the homosexuals, the Muslims, the young, the middle-aged people. But the seniors, they're saying flat out, you're going to be killed off and you'll be eliminated. And Sanders has been saying that ever since he instigated the idea of Medicare for all, just like Elizabeth Warren did. And now you can see, because of the idiocy of America, it's all coming to pass because people don't care. People don't care. But when you start dying, folks, you're going to start caring because you're going to realize we did this to ourselves. We let the communists come in here. So when you find yourself in this harsh reality and you see this happening, don't point fingers at Barack at your. Don't blame Trump for it. Okay, you blame the communists because they're the ones that started this. They were the ones that wanted to get rid of everybody else except for who they think should deserve to live, those who should survive. That's what it's all about. Who should live, who should die. Nobody has that right but God himself. God is the only one that makes those decisions. Not the communists, not the socialists, not the Nazis. Nobody has the right to take a human life except God, because he created it. And I don't care what a woman says, she is a carrier of life, not a creator. That's why so many millions of babies die every day in this country, because they think they are God themselves. And that is a total fabrication. It is a total lie. God creates life, not women. Women are carriers, and that's what God created a woman to be. She carries human life. That's it. She is not God making that decision of what should live and what shouldn't. But you see, the socialists give them that power, because they think, we got more women in the world than we got men. So if we can have women on our side, we got it made, because there's more of them than there are of men. There's more women than anybody. They think, let them do whatever they want to. Who cares how many human lives die, as long as they come out of this intact, the communists, the socialists. And that's why when the Me Too movement was going on, you kept hearing them saying over and over again, oh, I don't have to prove whether or not a man assaulted me or whatever. They just said, oh yeah, you just have to believe it because I'm a woman. That was their rationale for all the lies they perpetrated. Me Too was saying, I'm a woman, so therefore you got to believe what I tell you. It's like, you don't do that for a man. A man has to prove whether or not he's guilty. Women say, no, we ain't got to prove nothing. We're a woman, therefore we're innocent. We're unaccountable for anything. Don't believe it? Go back and look at all those cases about the Me Too movement. How many women ever had to prove anything happened? None. They never had to prove it, because they didn't have to prove anything. They never have to prove anything. But it's been that way since the Garden of Eden. You know? I mean, it was the woman who was beguiled by Satan. It was not man. She beguiled Adam, who God created first, by the way. But women are going to say, oh, no, it's not that. That's not how it happened. I was like, yeah, just pretend that you don't want to believe fact. But that's exactly what did happen. But today, ladies and gentlemen, in the United States, our nation is dead. And anybody who voted for Biden, pat yourself on the back, pat yourself on the rear, pat yourself on the head, because you are just like Barack Obama, who cares for nobody, who cares for nothing but himself, only for his fat moon pie orange wife, Michelle Obama. He cares about Hillary, who he kissed all the time. He cares about the communists. He cares about socialism. He cares about the New World Order. But you and me are pawns. We're like Lee Harvey Oswald during the assassination of John F. Kennedy. He told the police, I'm a patsy. A patsy is a pawn, somebody someone else use for their own purposes. And the United States as a nation is now a patsy for the Communist Party, for the socialists. The socialists now rule everything. And if you think you'll ever have another election in 4 years, you're lying to yourself, because there will never be another election. Either the Communist Party will eliminate the Electoral College and the U.S. Constitution, or they'll use martial law to totally get rid of it. And those two ways are definitely something they'll use, because they've got the coronavirus helping them to do it right now. So in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, the United States as a nation is dead. And nobody is to blame but you, because you voted for Joe Biden. Those who didn't, those who did vote for President Trump, I applaud you. I say you should stand with him every day, and you should stand up against this communist regime in this country. You are the last hope in the equation. They know, the communists themselves know, that as long as the United States people are complacently stupid, they know they can win their battle, because they know people will not stand up for themselves. They will not lash out. They will not retaliate. In human history, there is one thing that has always happened where a revolution is successful. It's because of a coup. This is the people of that nation rise up, they retaliate against the government, and they take back their country. The French did it. Several other countries have done it in history. England has done it. The United States did it when we gained our independence from Britain, but that was 200 years ago. Now today you have people who are just totally desensitized. They don't have any desire, no will to say, I don't like what I see. I don't like the communists taking over my nation. They don't care, because they're not going to care, folks. They're not going to do anything. They're just going to let the communists take over, and they're going to say, forget it. Let them do whatever they're going to do to me. So I hope that through reading this particular chapter of Jeremiah 16, anybody who's going to get married and thinking about having a family, you might want to think again, because God is saying, y'all don't listen to me. You don't do what I ask you to do. I don't have the opportunity to bless you as a nation. So therefore, he's saying, I'm just going to eliminate you, because that's what nuclear war is going to do to America. It's going to annihilate this country. If you don't believe that nuclear war is about to happen in this country, it's because you're so complacently stupid you don't care whether or not the Russians and the Chinese come together and then nuke this nation out of existence. Because right now is a perfect time for a nuclear war to happen. The United States is totally in chaos because of the Communist Party of the Socialists. You think, no, they're not going to do that because they'll be killed, right? No. They got bomb shelters. They got ways to protect themselves. You and I, we don't have anything. We have no bomb shelter. We have no protection. Of course, they're going to say, well, maybe they don't have to do the bomb because they got the coronavirus to help eliminate people. That is true. But the Bible does say this. The world, especially Babylon, will be destroyed by fire. It says, look upon that great city of Babylon. It is no more. It has been destroyed. There's only one way you can destroy a city, and that's with a nuclear weapon. And Babylon, folks, is the nation of America. And that means if we're wiped out, there's nobody left. And that's what the communists want. They want to get rid of everybody and everything in this country. Because once that happens, they can come out of their foxholes in a couple of 100 years from now. After the radiation dies down, they can just say, we're going to start over again. Or, like I say, they'll just use martial law for the time being until that time comes. Because one way or another, the United States itself is now out of the equation as a superpower. Because the communists now are going to destroy this nation. They're going to destroy us as a people. They're going to destroy any chance we have to retaliate. And either you use nuclear war or martial law to stop us. The FEMA camps already exist. All they got to do is herd you in there, and that's the end of it. They had FEMA camps during the Second World War. They put all those Japanese citizens in those camps. Communists ain't going to tell you about that because they're like, we don't want them to know. We got the same thing set up again. Obama kept saying, oh, no, we're not going to do that. I don't believe anything Obama says. He's a liar. He's a hypocrite. And so is Joe Biden. Joe Biden's probably not going to be the president for more than maybe another year or 2 years because Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi both are going to enact the 25th Amendment. When that happens, they're going to say he's senile, he's a fart, he doesn't know mentally where he is, and they'll get rid of Joe Biden. And then they'll think, oh, we got a woman black president. And that's what women mostly want. They want women, women, women everywhere. And then they think, we've got it made. And it's like, you might have it, but who's going to do all the hard, dirty work for you? Is a woman going to do it? No, you're just going to think, we got men as slaves. We'll have them to do everything. That's reality, okay? That's what they're doing. That's why you see them only advertised on television, in movies, everywhere. Women say, we're all that matters. Nobody else matters. Nobody else counts. That's their philosophy. We are the only gender that is worth surviving, and we're the only ones that will. That's why all of my videos about opposite Earth is a reflection, a mirror of what our nation, of what our world has become. That women see themselves as all important, and that boys and men are now the dung of the earth. That they can step on them, they can do whatever they want to them. And that's what I've been trying to say in these videos about Jason McRich, to say our nation of America is opposite Earth, is what? Because a boy and a man is now nothing more than a puppet, a slave to a woman. And you can lie to yourself and say, no, that ain't true. Well, just keep watching and you're going to see everything I've said is absolutely true. It's going to happen very soon, and that's it. So I've told everything I can say to you people, and if y'all don't want to listen, then that's your problem, not mine.
CBS presents this program in color. This is the beginning. This is the day. You are watching the unfolding of one of history's great adventures. Man's colonization of space beyond the stars. This is Alpha Control, 0 minus 1 hour and 15 minutes in holding. Delay caused by difficulty with liquid oxygen loading valve. 0 minus 1 hour and 15 minutes and holding. TV satellite control, take over. Reaching out into other worlds from our desperately overcrowded planet, a series of deep-thrust telescopic probes have conclusively established a planet orbiting the star Alpha Centauri as the only one within range of our technology able to furnish ideal conditions for human existence. Even now, the family chosen for this incredible journey into space is preparing to take their final pre-liftoff physical tests. The Robinson family was selected from more than 2 million volunteers for its unique balance of scientific achievement, emotional stability, and pioneer resourcefulness. They will spend the 5.5 years of their voyage frozen into a state of suspended animation, which will terminate automatically as the spacecraft enters the atmosphere of the new planet. Here now is the Jupiter 2. The culmination of nearly 40 years of intensive research and the most sophisticated piece of hardware yet devised by the mind of man. Bold in concept, brilliant in execution, this most delicate yet most colossal of instruments makes possible man's thrust into deep space and will soon set out on its quest for a new world. This super spaceship stands 2 stories high. The upper level contains a fantastic, sophisticated guidance control system. An electronic elevator connects both floors of the intergalactic vehicle. The upper and lower levels are operationally self-contained. Here, on the lower deck, pulsating with unbelievable force, are the great atomic motors that will power the ship to new worlds. Spectacular but functional living quarters, including staterooms and galley, complete this level. There is one additional member of this expedition, an environmental control robot, key among whose many vital functions will be the final analysis of the physical environment of the new planet. This historic flight, preceded by nearly a decade of intensive research and preparation, has been shrouded by the most rigorous security precautions. Other nations, in even more desperate need for breathing room on our critically crowded planet, are racing the United States in this project. Countries that would go to any lengths of sabotage. This is Alpha Control, 0 minus 1 hour and 15 minutes, and still holding. Exactly. Launch plus 8 hours. Inertial guidance system destroy. Radio transmitter destroy. Cabin pressure control system destroy. This is Alpha Control. The Robinson family will prepare to board the space vehicle at once. It is now 0 minus 33 minutes and counting.
Calling Aeolus 14 Umbra. Aeolus 14 Umbra. Reporting mission accomplished. I have reprogrammed the robot. His power has been activated. Exactly 8 hours after launch, the robot will destroy the spaceship with all hands aboard. Repeat. 8 hours after launch, the robot will destroy the spaceship.
This is Alpha Control. All technical difficulties have been resolved and we are resuming countdown. The count now stands at 0 minus 1 hour and 14 minutes. All systems are now green and go.
Ready? Are we?
I should say something light and clever, shouldn't I? I just can't.
This is Alpha Control. The Robinson family will now board the spacecraft.
We're ready.
Planet is unsuitable. Imperative that I do not abandon my station. Repeat. Imperative.
Why are you taking so long?
Dr. Smith, I am sorry. Earth course is not advisable.
Have you no consideration for a man's creed in process? Who knows what dreadful creatures inhabit the reaches of this galaxy? I'm here on this dreadful planet under heavy grid.
A moment of truth has arrived. The spaceship Jupiter 2 is lost in space.
Do as I say.
Cannot compute. Programming data insufficient. Danger.
saw our picture on your shirt and wanted to say we love you. Be safe in Aleppo now.
I'm going to sing a song about a square, and I want you to look all around your room for one. But remember, a square has 4 straight sides, and each side is just as long as the other, and it has 4 corners that are the same size. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a square out there. Can you guess the square? Do you think that you can find it? You must be aware of the shape of a square if you really want to find it. So look with care for the shape of a square.
You can come and play now. You can come and play now. Come into the door.
عمران دقنيش.
قديش عمرها؟
4 سنين.